Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of everything that exists. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. And may the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Brothers and sisters, I would like to welcome you to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. We ask questions and we do our best to answer them in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In order to do that, we'd like to provide you with our phone numbers for those who would like to drop us a call. Area code 002, then 023855 131 or 132. Alternatively, you can send your emails to ask@huda.com or drop your question to my Facebook page, Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. While waiting for your valuable calls, I would like to tackle the following questions. Sister Afreen Sultana says, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Salah. I have two questions. The first question is, can we offer Salah immediately after taking a shower, which cleans all parts required to perform ablution? Or do we have to perform ablution again separately through taking wudu, or if we take a shower? I guess I got the question. One of the pillars of any act of worship is an-niyyah, is the intention. So when a person takes a shower, and it is a shower, a morning shower, or going to work, or an evening shower, or for any reason, it's kind of hot, it's dusty, and you take a shower, you cannot just come out of the shower and pray, assuming that because the shower took care of washing all the body parts that is washed during ablution. Because I did not intend to do ablution. I did not intend to perform wudu. So if I take a shower and meanwhile I intend to perform wudu and I wash the body parts which Allah the Almighty mentioned in ayah number 6 of Surah Al-Ma'idah and all the sunnah, then the wudu is valid. But if the person was performing ghusl, and al-ghusl is a shower, but it is intended to lift the major impurity. It's not just mere shower for refreshing oneself or cleaning up one's body. No, it is in order to lift the major impurity. So in this case, among the sunnah of al-ghusl is to perform wudu. And in the ghusl, we wash the entire body. So that is sufficient. I can pray with that. I don't have to perform wudu after performing ghusl because it was already included. But only if this ghusl was performed with the intention of lifting the major impurity. But taking a shower, diving, swimming, even in the river, in the current, in a running water, as long as you did not intend to perform wudu or ghusl, then it is just a shower. The Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ about performing wudu from the sea water, which is a salt water. He said, هُوَ الطَّهُورُ مَاءُهُ الْحِلُّ مَيْتَتُهُ. So if you swim in the sea, salt water, and while swimming your intention is to perform wudu too, and you did perform wudu, it's valid. You took a shower and you intended while in the shower place, in the bathtub, that you're performing wudu, that is valid too, and you can pray with that. Okay? Her second question is it mandatory to follow the sequence of washing different parts of our body while performing ablution? And if someone breaks the sequence and wash face before mouth, or wash nose after the hands up to the elbows, will one's ablution be invalid? Well, according to the vast majority of the Muslim jurists, including Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, so the Shafi'i school of thought and the Hanbali school of thought, are of the view that following the sequence or the order which is indicated in the command of performing wudu in the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah is a must, is mandatory. And according to them, that if a person deliberately broke the order, did not follow the sequence, then the wudu is invalid. What is the proof? Coming up after this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Oksana from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, sister?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Is that Sheikh Salah?
Yes, speaking. You're live on Ask Huda.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, my question is regarding zakah. I understand. Yeah, alhamdulillah. How about you?
Oh, there is a long delay. I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Go ahead and say your question right away, Sister Oksana, please.
Okay, question is for zakah. I understand that I need to give zakah on jewelry and any amount that amount of saving that I have for 1 year. But I want to inquire. Yeah, I want to inquire about the property. Like if I have some a piece of land or another apartment, so what is the ruling of zakah on the property?
Okay.
So that's my question.
I got your question, Sister Roxana. Thank you. Okay. What will determine whether the property that you have is zakatable, I mean that you have to pay zakah on it or not, is your intention. What do you intend to do with this property? People have some saving and they buy a property or they buy a flat so that when I go home I will live in it, or I will develop it, or I'll build my house on it. All of that is not zakatable. You don't have to pay zakah on any of that. Another person says, I'm planning on building multi-story building and rent the flats and live out of that. That is not zakatable either. And then when you rent and you generate the rent, that will be zakatable after you pay the utilities and the expenses. When does the property become zakatable? When do you have to pay zakah on the flat or the property that you own? If you bought it with the intention of selling it in order to make a profit out of it. Okay? So when you are in the trade business, you are in the real estate business, you are in the automobile business, you buy cars to sell them. You bought a car or more. From the moment you bought it, it's business. It is money worth, goods or a property. So once it is time to pay zakah, you pay zakah on the value of those items, which is whether it's a property or an automobile or whatever. But if your intention that this is a property that you bought for yourself or your children in the future, then you don't pay any zakah on that. Assalamu alaikum. Asrar from the case. Say assalamu alaikum, Asrar.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
I want to ask if the Imam, after Taslim, informed the Muqtadi Musallin that he was not in wudu after completing the prayer. It happened after Maghrib prayer. So we don't know that he remembered the first rakah or second rakah, but he told after Taslim that he was not in wudu. So who has to repeat the i'ada for this prayer, first prayer? Or Musallin?
I got your question, Asrar.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, if the Imam led the prayer and he realized that he did not have wudu, right once he remembers, he should withdraw from the prayer. Because in the hadith, لا يقبل الله صلاة بغير طهور. If you don't have wudu, you should step out of the prayer. If you remember, oh my God, I did wudu while I was supposed to perform ghusl, I had an intimate relationship at night and I'm leading Fajr prayer. It's embarrassing. What would people say about me? You have to stop and step out. Resuming the prayer while not having wudu, even if you're praying by yourself, is haram. It's not permissible. So now when the Imam finished the prayer, he said, sorry, I did not remember that I didn't have wudu. You're not blameworthy, the followers. And if the Imam did not remember, he's not blameworthy either. He is only supposed to make wudu and repeat his prayer. What about the followers, the ma'mumin? They don't have to repeat the prayer. They don't have to do anything because they prayed with wudu. And the reward is secured whether the Imam did not have wudu or the Imam was negligent of his prayer or he forgot or he did it deliberately is none of your business. So you guys, the followers, do not have to repeat the prayer. Okay? Only the Imam. And whether the Imam have informed you or he did not. And as a matter of fact, the Imam didn't have to inform no one. If he remembered after the prayer, you just need to make wudu and redo your prayer. Informing the musallin would not make any difference because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to make up the prayer or redo it. Only the Imam. Back to Sister Afreen's question about the order and the sequence in making wudu. What is the reference? Again, Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 6. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. Okay, look at that. How many body parts should be washed? Allah mentioned al-wujuh, the faces, the hands, and the feet. Okay, and in the middle he listed al-masah, which is wiping over one's head. So that means there are some body parts should be washed. He did not put them all in one sequence. No, he put them in the same sequence, and in the middle there was masah, which means you've got to follow that sequence. Those who are experts in the Arabic language, they perfectly understand here it means the order, the sequence. So according to the vast majority of the fuqaha, it's a must to do the wudu in the same sequence and order that Allah the Almighty prescribed in ayah number 6 of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Is there any different opinion? Yes, there is. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, he says the order is not a must, it's a sunnah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nader from the KSA, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh.
How are you, sister?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Sheikh, I just want to ask you, I'm a nurse and my mother passed away almost a month and a half, something like that. And while she's dying, I was trying to resuscitate her, and I don't know, if sometimes I have this idea in my mind, and I can imagine that maybe I killed my mother, maybe I did something wrong, I shouldn't have done it before, and I have this imagination, and I never see my mother in my dreams. Every day I'm praying that I can see her if she's happy, if she's satisfied, if she's not angry with me or my sister. And I never see her since.
Sister Nader, were you attending your mother when she died? I mean, were you assisting her medically?
Yes, I was. So until we called the ambulance, and ambulance came and they took her up to the hospital, and she died there.
Okay. Another question. Did any doctor, the ER doctor, say that you give her an injection that you shouldn't have given her, or you give her an overdose of anything that you shouldn't have done that?
Any medicine, but I know that the way that we supposed to resuscitate people when we saw them unresponsive like this. So I started to do it, and I started to give her the breath, and I started to do the chest compression like this. But I don't know. It just comes to my mind. Maybe she was alive. Maybe I'm done killing her. Maybe she was breathing, and I imagine that she was not breathing. I don't know. It's
okay.
like,
I just want to tell you that since you're a professional nurse, and you know what you're doing, we're going to treat your mother like any other patient, okay? and you're sincere, you did your job professionally, and you did what you would be doing in case that you have a patient in the ER or anywhere else, and you assume what you're doing is the right thing in the light of your profession. So you should forget about these whispers and these frustrations which are chasing you, because I assume this is from the shaitan. It's very obvious that you loved your mother, alhamdulillah. May Allah have mercy on her. I'm sorry to know that she passed away. This is what Allah the Almighty have decreed, and all of us are going to die. You would be blameworthy if you were not professional nurse and you did something, you made ijtihad, you give her some medication, or you did something that you were not sure whether it would help or not, and that may have led to killing her. But you didn't do any of that, so I don't think you're blameworthy. You just need to keep praying for her mercy. And whether you see her in a dream or not, we do not hold our lives waiting for a dream to tell us what is going on. We just do as Allah the Almighty told us to pray for our parents. May Allah have mercy on them. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الْحِسَابِ. Do as Allah the Almighty prescribed in the Quran. Oh Allah, forgive me and my parents. So keep praying for her, asking Allah to have mercy on her, to make her grave as a garden of paradise, and dismiss those ideas. And every time these frustrations cross your mind, just dismiss them and say Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Assalamu alaikum. Abu Aisha from Oman. Assalamu alaikum, ya Aba Aish.
Alaikum salam, ya Sheikh.
How are you?
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for this program. We really appreciate. I'm a regular listener for this program.
Wa jazakum. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. My question is, Sheikh, I have usually I'm paying zakah every year because my nasab level is above. But it happened this year. I have to buy something. So after a few days, it dropped down. My nasab level dropped down below zakah. So do I have to repeat again until I have to count again until next year, or I have to continue to pay zakah?
Okay. Was it dropped down before the due date of paying the zakah?
Yes.
Okay. How many days before the due date?
It was like, I need to go and check the statement, but it was like 2 months, something like that.
Okay, so that means it was...
I have just estimated, but I'm not sure. I need to go back and check my...
Yeah, it was quite some time, and you did not deliberately plan this in order to escape the payment of zakah, right?
No, not at all, not at all.
I understand. I'm just confirming so that everybody, not only you, the viewers, understand the difference. In this case, if you had to purchase whatever and you purchased it, and your position went down below the nisab, and it was before the due date, so that during the due date, normally the due date that you pay your zakah, you didn't have the position of the nisab, then you don't have to pay any zakah. You don't owe any zakah. Then later on, once you start possessing the nisab, that's a new date that you have to count a lunar year, so that in the next year at the same time you pay the due zakah, unless if you want to pay it earlier. Like, some people keep the payment of zakah, they want to pay in Ramadan, in the beginning of Ramadan or so. So that is permissible as long as you calculate it earlier, not later. You understand me?
Yeah, I understand you. But suppose if I decide to continue paying it, and because I was worried, because it is like a few days, less than a week, and it dropped down, and then the sub level goes up again, So if suppose I decide to continue paying with the same due date, is it acceptable?
Absolutely. Akhi, if you give voluntary charity, as long as it is from halal earning, and you give it with sincerity, is acceptable. So, and this is something very good. You have a very good feeling that, the true believer feels sorry that he's not paying zakah, And this is something that you experience right now. You want to pay zakah even though you're not due to pay zakah. So you want to pay. You can afford to pay, but you don't have because you don't have the nisab. But you want to take out of your position and pay what you used to do in the past. That's a voluntary charity. Acceptable? The qabul is based on it's from halal and it is with sincerity, then inshallah it is acceptable. Okay?
I can continue as usual, right? No need to count as the first chance, right? I can.
Yes,
if
because
I decide to pay,
yes, because
and then I can continue as usual, right?
yes, you can continue as usual because in this case you will be paying the zakah before its due date, which is perfectly fine. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which will be almost due date before almost 1 year. Yeah, but I feel like worried. I feel like I want to pay, you know.
Go ahead and pay
I don't
whatever you can afford. It's voluntary.
Yeah.
Jazakallahu khairan,
Yeah.
Abu Aisha from Oman. Very good feeling, alhamdulillah. Thank you, brother. Jazakallahu khairan. We have another question from one sister, TD, who says, I'm a Muslim girl who want to study Aqidah and Tajweed. What can I do to study these subjects and where can I go to learn? Can you please advise? Of course, I'll be happy to do that. Alhamdulillah. This problem has been eliminated many years ago. I would say almost a decade. There are many Islamic schools, online universities, and undergraduate and postgraduate. Some of them are accredited, and some of them are in the process of gaining the accreditation, which provide complete curriculum and course for Islamic studies all the way up to your master's and PhD. So if you wish, you can enroll in any of them. I can make mention of a few. Mishka, which is the Islamic University of North America, led by Dr. Salah Assawi, very renowned scholar, and it offers up to the PhD. And I can call the Islamic International University, Dr. Bilal Phillips. For new Muslims, there is a New Muslim Academy, which is absolutely for free. And there is also another international university. I just have a few in my mind, but we have some callers on the line, so let's take some. Assalamu alaikum. Yassine from Morocco. Assalamu alaikum. Story. Okay, please try again, Brother Yassine. The Knowledge University or Ma'rifah University is also available. So any of these universities or institutes you can enroll in to learn Aqidah and to learn Tajweed, Islamic, we teach many other subjects. We teach comparative religions, we teach Muslim sects and groups, we teach Islamic pedagogy, Seerah and Fiqh al-Seerah, Fiqh of worship, Fiqh of marriage, principles of jurisprudence, and obviously tafsir and Quranic exegesis. You have plenty of choices, so I highly recommend, even for many of our sisters whom we call house engineers. They got plenty of time. They are working from home to take care of their children. When they send them to school, they have these courses online you can attend. You can also attend the live sessions, and you watch the rerun, and you can attend the tests and the exams and educate yourself. Make the best use of your time. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, من سلك طريقا يبتغي به علما سهل الله به طريقا إلى الجنة. He who takes a path in order to seek knowledge, Allah will facilitate for him, as a result, his way to paradise. May Allah make it easy for all of us to learn the useful knowledge. Osman Hussein. Osman says, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. I want to know whether to say these words below 3 times in the morning and in the evening, or just in the evening. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. I seek refuge in the perfect words of Allah from the evil of what He has created. These are beautiful words, and one of the great means of protection against a lot of harm. especially scorpions, snakes, and whatever you fear of when you land in any place. There are many hadith narrated in this regard. One hadith which is narrated by Khawla bint Hakim, and this is a sound hadith collected by Imam Muslim. Man nazala manzilan, whoever attends or lands to any place. In the past, they did not have hotels and motels, so they would just camp, build their tents anywhere while traveling. And there is, of course, the risk: wild animals, hawam, scorpions, poisonous insects. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man nazala manzilan," whoever attends in any place. And he says, "A'udhu bi kalimatillahi tammati min sharri ma khalaq." I seek refuge in the perfect words of Allah from the evil of what He has created. لم يضره شيء حتى يرتحل. Nothing would harm him in this place until he departs. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said to one of the companions who got bitten by a scorpion, he said, "Have you said 3 times in the evening, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق?" Again, you say 3 times, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق, and this hadith is collected by Imam Muslim in his sound collection and narrated by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. So the Prophet ﷺ said, لو قلت حين أمسيت, have you said, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق, in the evening, 3 مرات لم يضرك. Have you said this dua 3 times in the evening? Nothing would have harmed you. You wouldn't have gotten bitten by the scorpion. There are other supplications. This hadith is narrated by many other narrators and collectors of the hadith. There are other supplications to be recited in the morning and the evening to protect yourself against any harm. لم يضره شيء, which is بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. And that you say in the morning and in the evening. In the name of Allah, with whose names nothing harms in the heavens nor in the earth, and He is all-hearer, all-knowing. Okay, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
This is Walid Bassuri, the Vice President of Al Maghrib Institute and a member of the Fatwa Committee and a simply jurist in North America. Believe it or not, there is no universal definition for the word terrorism. In the United Nations, there's a lot of debates, no agreement on how to define terrorism. They have no mercy. They have no feelings. Killing kids, killing an 80-year-old priest in the church, even the soldier, the enemy that you fight in a legit fight, if he is in a state of safety and security, not expected to be harmed, you're not allowed to harm him. But even other historians and other theologians said, no, Al-Khawarij started even in the Prophet ﷺ time, hijacking airplanes, destroying urban areas and buildings, public properties, targeting civilians, and all these kind of things that the terrorist group do today. And he said it's absolutely forbidden in Islam.
فلا يتدبرون القرآن.
One day the Prophet ﷺ came out to the companions radiallahu anhum, and he said to them, "Don't you bear witness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one worthy of worship and He has no partners? Don't you bear witness that I am the messenger of Allah? Don't you bear witness that the Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?" So the companions radiallahu anhum, they said, "Yes, O Prophet of Allah." Then the Prophet ﷺ said, فَأَبْشِرُوا, have the glad tidings, the great news as a result of this. Because the Quran has 2 ends to it. One end with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one end in your hands. Then he said to them, alayhi salatu wassalam, فَتَمَسَّكُوا بِهِ, hold fast to it, because you would never be led astray, and you would never be perished if you're holding fast to the Book of Allah. Because of that, join us every week in Quran in Depth, where we recite and reflect and ponder over the verses of the Quran. We go in depth into the verses, following the ways of the Prophet ﷺ and the companions radiallahu anhum. When they used to take the verses, one set of verses after another, they would recite it, they would reflect upon the meanings of it, and they would act according to it, and then they would go to the next set of verses. Join us every week in Quran in Depth, so that we would recite and reflect and learn more about the Book of Allah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless our life and to make us among those who follow the Quran and the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Our numbers once again are area code 002, then 023855, 131 or 132. The following question is from one sister. She did mention her name. I would avoid mentioning her name. She says, I live in UAE. I want to ask, if a husband doesn't stay at home, doesn't sleep with the wife, doesn't visit his kids, or even support his family, is this considered a divorce even if he did not pronounce it? No, that is not considered a divorce. He is not doing his homework, he is not taking care of his responsibility, he is blameworthy, but divorce is not achieved automatically by doing so. So you have to either request a divorce, that if you don't want to live with him, or raise the case to the specific judge or the court, who would give you khul'a or give you fasakh, would command him to take care of his responsibility and to support the family. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ إِثْمًا أَنْ يُضَيِّعَ مَنْ يَعُولُ. It is such a great sin that you don't need to do any other sins to waste those who are under your guardianship, not to support them, not to take care of them. The financial support is an essential support, it is definitely needed, but it is not everything. There is a moral support, there is psychological support, there is a physical support. One have to be there for his family, for his children. And when Aisha radiyallahu anha was asked about the behavior of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his wives, he said, كَانَ يَكُونُ فِي خِدْمَةِ أَهْلِهِ. He was always in the service of his family, his wives, his family members. He was always helping at home. And no one can claim that he is busier than Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and how he was so busy in managing the affairs of the entire ummah. But he would create time, he would spare time for his family. And when the Prophet ﷺ spoke about good manners, he said, the best of you are those who are the best to their wives. And I am the best of my wife. وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي خَيْرُكُمْ خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِي. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and I'm the best to my family, to his wife, to his children, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So if you're complaining that he's not doing what he should do, he's not taking care of his responsibility, then it is absolutely your right to ask for a separation, and you ask for child support and all your rights, and the court should provide you with your rights. Sister Amina Abdullahi says in her question, can I fast the expiation of breaking the oath over separate days? You mean the kafara for one's oath, which is فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ. Yes, it doesn't have to be consecutive, but it is my duty to remind you, Sister Amina, that fasting is the last choice in case that you cannot afford the first and the second kafara. As Allah the Almighty said in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان فكفارته إطعام 10 مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم أو كسوتهم أو تحرير رقبة فمن لم يجد فصيام 3 أيام ذلك كفارة أيمانكم إذا حلفتم. What does Allah say here? In the case of al-mun'aqidah oath, which is an oath that you swear to Allah to do something in the future or not to do something in the future, then you violated your oath. So the expiation will be to feed 10 poor people, either to feed them or to buy them clothes. And the second alternative is أو تحرير رقبة, or to free a slave neck. But if you cannot afford it, then you cannot afford it financially. If you cannot afford feeding 10 poor people, then in this case you can resort to fasting for 3 days, and the ayah did not specify that consecutive. متتابعات did not say that. Some kafaras, Allah the Almighty said, صيام شهرين متتابعين, fasting for 2 consecutive months, but there was no mention of being consecutive here. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Asia from the KSA, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuhu. Sheikh, I have one question.
Yeah.
Can we visit Madain near Medina, near to Khaybar, just for a visit, for a tourist purpose? And can we eat, if we go there and we feel hungry, can we eat our own food which we have brought along with us, or the people who are selling there in the shop? Is this permissible?
Yes, it is permissible, Sister Asia. It is permissible. Okay? Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Muhammad from Egypt, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Go ahead, sister.
Sheikh, my question is regarding abortion.
Mm-hmm.
If it's under 40 days, is it permissible to get abortion or
Why?
haram? Why?
Yeah, why?
Because I've got 4 kids and I'm struggling quite a lot, my health, everything, and I don't really get support from my husband.
Okay, did your doctor say that there is a life threat?
No.
Okay, then it is not permissible even from day one.
Okay.
Once you conceive, sister, once you conceive, then this is a soul. This is something that Allah the Almighty is going to create. It's not a soul yet, but you do not abort it even under 40 days, okay? Unless if there is a reason such as life threat. If your doctor said that you had like 5, 6 C-sections and you cannot bear any more children, your belly is very weak, your womb is very weak, or you're having, God forbid, other diseases which you should not be pregnant while having those diseases. So in this case, you're allowed automatically. But abortion is not permissible simply because you just figure that I have 4 kids or I have 5 kids. You should have taken care of that from the beginning by perhaps widening the gap through taking contraceptives or the loop or doing what is known as al-azl. But if it happens, it is not our choice to drop the baby or abort it. May Allah bless you, Sister Muhammad, and take care of you and your family. Ameen. Brother Mubashir, Muhammad Mubashir, says, Sheikh, I'm studying ACCA. That's a financial course to be a chartered accountant. And I'm worried that after the completion of the course, I won't be able to find a halal work or halal company which has no relations with interest, directly or indirectly. Also, I have no idea if there is any organization on the face of the earth which doesn't deal with interest. First of all, yes, there are many organizations which do not deal with interest. And in UAE, there are many organizations and a lot of people, whether companies or individuals, who recognize interest as haram and they don't deal with it. So you would not uh, you know, not find any job in a halal accounting field? Yes, you will. There are many banks which claim that they are Islamic banking. So when you check them out, and if they're Islamic, alhamdulillah. But when you say directly or indirectly, this is a little, I don't want to say extreme, but it is too much, because indirectly, sometimes you have nothing to do with it, okay? And it was something that is imposed on you. You deal with it because to open a company, you have to have a credit card, for instance, even if you don't use it. So that's an indirect dealing with it, and you make sure that you do not pay interest. That's an example. There are a lot of cases like that. So you do not say, I will not find a halal job. And if it is the beginning of the course, we need accountants anywhere. We need accountants, we need lawyers, we need doctors. And in every field there is a halal and haram. It is true that in some fields the haram is overwhelming, such as being an accountant. And in some fields the halal is overwhelming, but there could be haram. If you're a doctor, who was just talking about abortion, the obstetric doctor who's going to do the abortion, he is a killer, is a murderer. The anesthesiologist who's assisting him to put the patient to sleep, he is a killer. He is not just doing a haram, you understand? Unless if it was legitimate through some of the reasons I mentioned earlier, like there is a life threat to the mother. In your field, there are many business owners and many companies who are God-fearing, who try their best to avoid any form of haram. I have known many of them. So inshallah you will find, since you already started or enrolled in this program. And also one thing I want to address, that since I teach pedagogy, particularly Islamic pedagogy, I find that, we become like machines. The youth, the teenagers since high school, they are oriented towards serving the big corporates. So the maximum goal of a person is to become an accountant, to work, for instance, for a particular firm or bank, to become a doctor so that he can work for this hospital, so that he can establish his own career, so can he get rich and buy the car of his desire. Akhi, have you ever considered even started your own business? And instead of getting paid a certain limited salary, perhaps start your own business or trade, which is much more profitable, so that you can hire more Muslims and you can set the rules and set your own foot, and you say, I only deal with halal. Why not? Be a pioneer. Some of the youth who used to hang around me in the United Arab Emirates, in Dubai particularly, and as you know that there is a great deal of competition, and a lot of people are in the trade business, said that, my uncle taught me, and his uncle I know him very well as well, he taught me that not to take a job, rather to start your own business. I didn't know what to do. He said, every morning dress up nicely and leave home at 6 a.m. Drive around, wander around, take a cup of coffee, go here and there, check out different places, but do not sleep until it is noon. Do not sleep until the time of the barakah is out. A lot of people, they prefer the safe side. They think that the safe haven is to get a job where you have a fixed income, then you have a retirement plan, and that's it. But they are very limited. Those who are deep thinkers, those who are shrewd in business, they take the risk once, twice, and once Allah the Almighty blesses them, they start a small business and it grows, it becomes bigger. They never imagine one day that they will have 40 people working for them or 100 people working for them. They never thought that I would have that many cars and many drivers and several houses, but they made an effort. So take the chance and look for a business that may be unique. You develop something to be unique, not to be a copy from everybody else. And do not be centered around the idea of working for others. This advice is for everyone, for our youth, for those who are even working currently in jobs, and they're afraid that because of cutting down the number of jobs and laying people off and deporting people because they cannot offer them a job anymore, develop something your own self so that you wouldn't be under the mercy of anybody else. May Allah help us all. Sister Sharifa Olabas says, I want to know whether bleaching or lightening one's skin with certain creams acceptable in Islam or not. It is acceptable so long as these creams or topical applications do not have side effects. Some of these creams are carcinogenic, you know. If it doesn't have those side effects, it is permissible. And if you're doing this, obviously, for your husband. Those who wear whatever they wear in order to appear of lighter skin, whenever there is a suitor or somebody is coming to meet them or check on her and sees her so that she would look with fair skin, and then when they consummate the marriage, he realizes that something different than what he saw. This is cheating. This is cheating, and this is not permissible. I just read recently about a case that a person in the Gulf not only filed for divorce, but he sued his wife for a big amount, all the money that he paid for the wedding and the dowry and the house, because he saw her completely different person. And in the morning, after they had a blessed night and they consummated the marriage, without makeup, he was scared. He didn't know that this is a woman that I'm married to. It's all because of the makeup. So if it is you're a married woman and you and your husband are okay with that and there is no side effects to it, no problem, okay? But if it is to look different than the reality before a suitor, that is called cheating. We'll take one more question before we wrap it up, inshallah. We're approaching the end of the episode. Sister Fatima Aboud says, how do I deal with a close relative who is very envious with everything, even small things I buy? Number one, the prescribed ta'weedh, reciting the last 3 chapters of the Quran, al-mu'awwidhat, and the last 2 chapters of the Quran particularly, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, reciting Ayat al-Kursi. And asking the person, if you know that he is blunt and he doesn't conceal his envious nature, ask him when he says something and he likes to say, Allahumma barik, barrik. Yani say, Allahumma barik, oh Allah, bless this person in what he has. Bless him, his family, his wealth, his car, his belonging, his property. Embarrass him once or twice. And around a person whom people know that he's envious and he has an evil eye, do not share nor disclose your secrets. Do not show them everything, or do not show them anything. استعينوا على قضاء حوائجكم بالكتمان. يعني seek help in fulfilling your needs by keeping them secret. Do not reveal everything and to everyone, because as the Prophet ﷺ said, إن العين حق. The evil eye is a reality. The evil eye can split the stone. The evil eye can cause a camel which is racing on the racetrack to fall ill and to die. It can cause a muscular person, a physically fit person, to fall ill and die. So in order to protect yourself against that, what does the ayah say? وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And I seek refuge in you from the evil of an envier whenever he envies. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and in